G'day Jacked and Nerdy fans, Jeremy here with another review video. Today we are doing a review video for the latest Netflix series Resident Evil. Before we jump into that review, just want to give a big shout out to all of our subscribers out there. Thank you so much for following our channel, and if you haven't already done so, make sure you hit that subscribe button. That way you never miss out on a video. And if you do enjoy these videos or our content, make sure you give those videos a thumbs up, because it lets us know that you guys are enjoying our content and it encourages us to keep making it. So as I said, hit that subscribe button, and if you enjoy these videos, give them a thumbs up. Okay, now with that out of the way, let's jump into this review. Now, it is a non-spoiler review, so we won't be giving away any major plot details or storylines or anything like that. If you are a Resident Evil fan like I am, I grew up on the original video games all the way back to the PS1 version. I've played them all the way through up until 5 and Revelations and all of that. So if you are a diehard Resident Evil fan, you are going to love this series. It pays homage in so many ways. Harkens back to the original stories in many ways. However, that being said, if you are not a massive Resident Evil fan like me, like my wife, if you're like my wife, Mrs. Jacked and Nerdy, who appeared in our episode 1 initial reaction video, she did not grow up on the video games. The only indoctrination into the games that she has been watching on the odd occasion if I'm sitting down and playing the games myself, on the PS5 or PS4 or whatever. So she's not as into the whole history and the mythos. However, she is a big fan of the movie franchises that they came out with Mila Djokovic, and she enjoys those very much. But she's not as into the whole backstory and the history of the games as I am. Now, both of us absolutely loved the franchise. So if you are someone who's not as into the mythos, as it were, don't worry. You don't need to be. You can enjoy this show straight up out of the gate without knowing any of the backstory or the history or anything. So it'll be a completely fresh and new experience for you, and you'll be able to follow and understand very easily and enjoy the ride yourself. So it really does cater to both audiences. People with a history of Resident Evil, you will be pleasantly entertained, and you'll pick up on all the little Easter eggs and everything. People who are not into the whole history, you will still enjoy it very much, and it will be a completely new and novel experience for you in that sense as well. So they did do a fantastic job with this show. The scripting, the storytelling, all of that is fantastic. They do kind of it's a bit hard not to go into spoiler territory. What I will say is, If you've played the video games and you know all the game kind of storylines and everything, this series is very much set in the future of those stories, and they reference back to the events that happened in those games and things like they were past events and historical events. So it's set in the future of what we know as the Resident Evil universe now. So it's a completely new story. So they don't have to kind of, they don't have their hands tied in certain ways, which is really, really good. They could experiment and expand the story and build on it and take it to whole new levels, which was really, really good. So they did a fantastic job with the scripting and the storytelling in that sense. The casting of this show was absolutely fantastic as well. Literally, I think there's only 2 actors out of the whole cast that are, I suppose you could say A-list, or not even A-list, maybe B-list. They've been in lots of things before. Those 2 actors are Lance Reddick, who everyone would know as the concierge at the Continental Hotel in the John Wick movies. Very, very talented actor. Very charismatic, beautiful voice. Very, very, very talented man. And now, another actress, I don't want to butcher her name, so I do apologize in advance. Paola Nunez. I've seen her in other things. I can't put my finger on it off the top of my head. I'll just actually have a quick look. Okay, she's been in Bad Boys for Life. Let's have a look here. What else? A lot of Spanish kind of films. She was in The Sun, The Purge. She was in The Purge. So she's been in a few Hollywood movies, but mostly kind of Spanish cinema, I would say. So she's been in a few things, so you will recognize her voice, or her face, I should say. But she was fantastic in this as well. So those are the only two actors who I knew prior to watching this. All the other cast are all relatively unknown actors and actresses, brand new talents, you could say. I'm going to have to say Ella Balinska, who plays one of the lead. She was absolutely fantastic and a real show standout, and quite beautiful as well. And then there was some young, was Adeline Rudolph. She was fantastic as well, even though she was only in it for a very short period, but she was still made a fantastic impact. Also some very young talent. Tamara Smart and Sina. I'm not going to try and pronounce that surname. I'm sorry. I will absolutely butcher it and not do her any justice. Anyway, very young actresses who were in very predominantly leading roles, did an absolute fantastic job as well. So in terms of the casting, I could not fault it at all. As I said, they were taking it in a completely new and different direction. So, they made a few changes to original characters, and you'll know what I mean if you're into the original lore and background of Resident Evil. So they took a few liberties and made a few little changes, but you know what? It's very small and insignificant, and it doesn't destroy your experience at all. So, fantastic casting on there as well. Another thing that I really enjoyed about this, and I picked up on, it was the use of music, and the soundtrack in this show was really, really good. They used a couple of popular-y kind of tunes to kind of break it up and add a bit of an entertaining element to it. But also just the use of music to change the mood from ominous to, exciting and relaxed kind of mood to very ominous and very dark and very menacing. They did a fantastic job with the soundtrack and the use of music in this as well. So, with that said, it is a Netflix show, so it is 8 episodes. Each episode goes for just under, the first episode goes for an hour, and then the remaining episodes are just under, more around the 55 minutes. So you're getting close to 8 hours of content in there and 8 hours of story. They do a good job with filling those 8 hours and keeping the pace up and keeping the story going. So pacing was definitely not an issue with this. There are, in typical fashion of any type of show, they leave a lot of unanswered questions at the end of it. A lot of unanswered questions. I personally feel there is probably a few too many unanswered questions. They probably could have provided a little bit more of a wrap-up of the season, in my opinion. But that being said, they've left it so far open that I am crossing all my fingers and toes, hoping that they do a second season. I know, historically speaking, Netflix have let us down in that sense of only doing one season and then killing the project and not continuing on. I'm really hoping that they don't do that with this franchise, because I think it can be a very big franchise for them. And because they left it so open, they can take it in so many different directions. So fingers and toes crossed, I really do hope that they do a season 2, just so that we can get some answers to all the questions that they left open. So don't watch this show expecting everything to be wrapped up in a nice little parcel at the end. You will be very disappointed if you do that. There are lots of unanswered questions at the end of this first season. So fingers crossed that they do a second season. We'll just have to wait and see. So that being said, if you were on the fence about this show, make sure you head over to Netflix right now and watch Resident Evil, because the more people who view it, then that will give, hopefully, Netflix the encouragement that they need to go ahead and greenlight a second season. I will give this show a 7.5 out of 10, maybe even an 8 out of 10. I was thoroughly enjoyed. I was thoroughly entertained, I should say. I deeply enjoyed it, and I picked up on all the little Easter eggs and all the little nods to the fans and everything in there, and I really cannot wait to see where they take it, if they do take it on for another season. So, look, I'll review my answer. I'll say 8 out of 10. Like I said, I'm a massive Resident Evil fan. I enjoyed the show start to finish. I loved it. I cannot wait for a season 2. Netflix, if you're listening to this, you're probably not, but if you are, please greenlight a season 2 ASAP. Get onto it, get it written, get it filmed, and get it out there for us, all of us fans. So, that being said, Resident Evil on Netflix is definitely a must-see, especially if you are a Resident Evil fan like me. But even if you're not, you will completely enjoy this show from start to finish. You don't need to know the lore like I do. You don't have to be a super fan of the franchise. You will enjoy this show just for what it is. And so with that being said, I'm going to wrap this up. So until next time, guys, stay jacked, stay nerdy, and check out Netflix Resident Evil right now.